Well, the midterm elections have seemed so far away, but alas, they are now just a little under 6 weeks from now. Joining us now to talk about the preparations that go into a big election is West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder. Debbie, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Hi, Larry. How are you doing?
Great. How about yourself?
Good. Thank you for having us today.
You're welcome. So I mentioned the November 8th election is under 6 weeks away from now. Can you talk about what the deadline is for folks to register to vote in West Bloomfield?
Okay, actually, with Proposal 3 of 2018, you can register up to and at the end of Election Day at 8 p.m. So you have a lot of time still to register. You can also request an absentee ballot to vote up till 4 p.m. the Monday before the election. That Monday is a hard stop. It's statutory. You have to request that ballot at the clerk's office by Monday at 4 p.m.
And when will, for those who are already applied for an absentee ballot, when will those be mailed out?
Tomorrow. We have
Tomorrow.
15,000, tomorrow. We have 15,000 ballots ready to go out tomorrow. They will be picked up and sent out with a tracker on them tomorrow so that we make sure they get delivered to everybody's home.
So now I remember during the height of COVID, mail service was a little slow, and I know there was a big push to have people drop off their absentee ballots in person. Is that still the case, or if they get them, next week or so, there's still plenty of time to mail them in if people want to do that?
We still recommend, where feasible, that you use the Dropbox or return it to Town Hall. It just takes out that unknown of the mail. We did find in the end that the mail did work okay, but I will say that there were delays and there were days that we did not receive mail. So if you do have to rely on the mail, we have our college students, our military overseas voters, our snowbirds, people who really do need to rely on that mail, including our seniors. Don't wait. Return that absentee ballot as soon as you can. They'll go out tomorrow. As soon as you get it, vote it and get it on its way back. If you haven't requested one yet, call my office. We'll send you an application or tell you how to send in an application. You can actually send that in digital. However, the ballot itself needs to be sent by mail to you and then returned to the clerk's office. It must be received by 8 p.m. on election day. So again, to remove any doubt or concern that the mail may not get here on time, we recommend using that Dropbox where feasible or mailing early. Please do not delay. We have a sticker coming out on the beacon that will say, "Don't delay, return your absentee ballot today," and we still highly recommend that as the best way of making sure your ballot is received by 8 p.m. on election day.
So if we go back just a bit to the primary elections back in August, now usually the turnout for those is not anywhere near what it is for the November elections. Do you have any statistics on what the turnout was in West Bloomfield for the primaries?
Turnout was about 30% for the primary. And we've had it's been in the 30s, it's been up to 37%, it's been a little bit lower, it depends on the year. I anticipate in the general last time we had about 66% turnout. I do anticipate that we will see probably for this election between 68 and 73% turnout is where I'm predicting. We normally are 75% in a presidential. We got up to about 79% in 2020. I do anticipate we will see near presidential turnout for this election. We have seen a shift toward absentee voting. People are choosing to vote that way, a right that was given by Proposal 3 of 2018 and protected in the Constitution. So it is now a no reason absentee, voting. People are choosing to vote that way. We saw in the last election about 63% of our ballots were cast by absentee. So it is important to make sure your voice is heard, get that absentee ballot back here on time.
And Debbie, I know with the recent redistricting that some polling locations had changed. Are there polling location changes for people in West Bloomfield who, if they've just voted last 2 years ago, that's going to be different from 2 years ago? And if so, how can they find out where exactly they need to go to vote?
Okay, so most of our polling changes were because our precincts were too large. There's a cap on the number of voters you can have. Redistricting didn't affect us as much. So most of our voters will stay the same. Those that have changed, the great majority of those that have changed will be in their same polling location. So even if they've switched precincts, when they get to their polling location, they'll find they may be in a different precinct, but they're in the correct place. There are a few people that have had a change. We have voters in precinct 15 that are west of Town Hall that have switched to Temple Israel. And then we have people who are voting at Orchard Lake Middle School that we made a temporary change through the end of this year to Chico. And we are going to bring to the board to consider keeping that location at Chico. It worked out really well. Parking is a little bit easier. The school district has been a really wonderful partner and has given us the green light to stay at Chico. We just need the board to approve that change. So those of you who are precinct 1, you may find a permanent change coming for Chico being your new polling location. Everybody should have received a new voter registration card with redistricting. It's a statutory requirement. If you still have questions, you can go to michigan.gov/vote, or I can also tell you that everyone at the clerk's office is very friendly and is happy to answer your call and tell you exactly which precinct and which polling location you would be voting in. I do want to remind people, Larry, also, we have sample ballots available at Town Hall. They are also available at that michigan.gov/vote. But for people who want to take a sample ballot in with them so they know what they want to choose when they go into the precinct, those are available. We've understood from others that people are requesting absentee ballots, so they have a sample ballot. That's not the way to do it. Get a sample ballot from us or print one from online. Happy to help you. You know, if you can't find it online, we're happy to help you get that. But it's a good way to go into that precinct knowing what who you're going to vote for or what on the proposals. I myself tend to be a poll voter. I like the energy. I like to go in there and get my sticker. I like to see people. It's the same people. You know, we have people who come back year after year to work. It's kind of a precinct family. So I will have my sample ballot that I will request from my clerk's office, and I will take it to the polls and vote. But again, people choose to, you know, people are passionate about their choice of voting, whether it's in a precinct in their polling location or by absentee, and both rights are protected.
So Debbie, I know it's not just you folks at in the clerk's office that makes these elections go smoothly. You have a lot of volunteer workers. Are you still in need of election workers for November?